there's a distance between us. It's getting hard to reach out. Haven't seen you in seasons, but all I hear is your voice. I know my limits, you can break me down, but I'll stay till the finish line. And I've been counting minutes for quite some time now, just to see you again. And I've been counting days to get away, to see you again, see you again. Been finding ways to get away, to see you again, see you again.
Hello everyone, I'm G-Phase. Today we'll be bringing another podcast episode for featuring the Sheriff Department this time. So, without further ado, we'll go ahead and begin. Alright, so before we begin here, I'm just gonna lay out the plan. I have a predetermined question that we got from over social media that I'm gonna go through first, and I'll give an opportunity for each and every member of the CSC from Sheriff Department here to answer. And then once we're done with the following, we will then go to the chat and pick some questions from the chat and for anyone from here to answer. So right now, I'm gonna begin with the first question. I'll be going from my right towards all the way to my left, and we'll keep doing this recircle. So everyone here ready?
Yep.
Sir.
Yep.
Alrighty. First question is, what is your name and rank in the department?
I am J. Roselli, and I am a captain with BCSD.
What I last sheriff.
I am Captain P. James, and I am a captain. Wait.
I'm N. Valentino, and I am a lieutenant.
I'm T. Gray, and I am also a lieutenant.
Alrighty. What areas of the world are you all from?
I am from Pennsylvania.
Arkansas.
Captain James?
I'm from Idaho.
From good old Louisiana. Mm-hmm.
From Illinois.
And lastly, for the introduction question, how are you all doing?
Spectacular. I'm getting a stench from my right here, but other than that, having a great day.
Doing pretty good. Able to look over to my right and see that Warren deputy vest. Looks very good on you, James.
You know what, Les? I really appreciate that. I just want to say thank you, and I hope we have a good day today. I'm doing good, Phase. Thank you for asking, buddy.
Yeah, honestly, I would have to agree with Les. James, that warrant vest does look pretty good. I'm doing pretty good myself. Thank you for asking, Gray.
Yeah, I'm doing great, except for that Warren vest. Not really a big fan, but yeah, on my main concern,
Thanks for your
Roselli
opinion,
was
Gray.
doing. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. I like how you doing, Roselli.
Alrighty.
Okay.
We'll move on. How long has this department ran for, and when was it first created? So this question could go to Sheriff Lessier.
Yeah, I mean, it was created with the founding of SAF, so 2017 June probably when it first opened. I think that's it.
It's been running since then. Is that careless?
Do what? Sorry.
Has the department been running since then?
Yes, it's never shut down.
Okay. If any, what is the inspiration behind the BCSD structure and how is it run?
Is this for Les? Or is it for
Yeah.
anybody?
It can start with less, but if anyone wants to add into it.
Yeah, I'll just start. Me and basically the main inspiration of the structure. It's something I inherited. Just we had to make it a lot better. Simply put, is just to give as much responsibility to as many people as possible. That's kind of what gives people a drive in this kind of realm of the world and in 5M and stuff. So I see it very important to allow people to do their job and to show what they're what they're worth. In the department, senior deputies have a lot of responsibility and are able to do a lot of things that others aren't able to do. So it's really just about giving as much responsibility as possible to as many people and letting them prove themselves.
Does anyone want to add on to that?
Nothing really more to add other than just we all get our opinions heard, and everyone in this department gets their opinions heard, and I think that's like a main driving factor of how everything's ran here.
Yeah, I just want to say those were two very good answers. Thank you for that.
All right. Anyone else before I go to the next question? All right. Well, next question is, this once again can start out by Les, but everyone will get a chance on this, is changes in staff can be difficult. How different was it transitioning into the position as a sheriff, Les, and for everyone else for Les becoming sheriff? And how was the department from before to how it is now?
For me at least, transferring in, I mean, I've done it before, so I mean, it wasn't really a new thing to me in terms of leadership in Leo departments, but it was just kind of, look at the state of the department, evaluate what we have now, and then it was just start dishing out responsibility. I mean, I had people doing stuff that, our captains and lieutenants do. They were doing them when they were corporals, and they've just kind of continued that work all the way up. And so for me, it was kind of seamless. It was just, I followed the plan I've always followed, which is to delegate responsibility, decentralize the command of the department, and try to make it as efficient as possible, as quickly as possible. And I think we achieved that.
I'll add on to what he said. Transition itself, I was in BCSD for a few months. I eventually went over to state for a little bit. So when Les originally came over, I wasn't there. I came back about a few days after he was here. But the transition, given my past experience to that experience, I would say at that point we were at our lowest point. However, though we were at our lowest point, we had a lot of hope because it was a new sense, newfound leadership that we were, confident in a new start and that we could build things back up from the ground. And I think we did really good at doing that. But yeah, the transition itself was probably the hardest part until we got our, we all got together, delegated responsibilities, and started passing stuff down at lower ranks, and it lessened the workload on us. And overall, our department flourished extremely fast from that point.
I'll take on that as well. So before Les first transferred, as Roselli said, we were obviously in a low spot. I mean, there were some struggles going on, but it was nothing that we weren't trying our hardest to keep up with. I think the initial transfer itself was very smooth. Les came over, kind of assessed everything, and then just started handing tasks out, and we were cranking the things out that we needed to do. There was a lot of work that went into it initially, but obviously that stuff's paid off in the long run for all of us. So
Yeah, so I wasn't in the sheriff's department before Les came over. I transferred after the fact that after he came into the sheriff department. But being able to help the department grow from where it was and do all that has just been a great experience for me, and I'm sure everybody else here can also relate to that.
Yeah, I was pretty much in the same boat as James. I wasn't in here when Les first came over. Um, but I came over and immediately I was given tasks to do. I did them well. I believe everyone else has that same kind of story. They were given tasks to do, they did them well. And then we really felt like we were a part of making the department better at the time, which is a great feeling to see, coming from where it was to where it is now, and knowing that we were a major part of the change. And all that was because we were handed out responsibility by Les when he came over.
All right. And anyone wants to have final touches, or are we good to move on?
I think we're good.
All right. Next, this is a debated one, but why BCSD instead of BCSO?
I don't know. Everybody had said, "Oh, do we do BCSO? Do we do BCSD?" At the time when I came over, I was like, "We need to find something." I remember FaZe, you were like, "Hey, you need to pick something," and I remember just kind of asking around, and I noticed a lot of people in the department said department, and so I was like, you know what? This is what the majority of people say. We're just gonna go with department. I mean, if somebody says office, it's not a big deal. I mean, it's the exact same thing. It's the office or the department. I mean, it really doesn't matter. So, but in terms of formal documentation, all that type of stuff, we go Blaine County Sheriff's Department.
Alrighty. So, next question on the agenda is how many people are in the BCSD?
24. I think. Let me confirm that.
That's correct.
24.
Yep.
And going off that question, when do BCSD application plan to open?
We opened probably 2 weeks ago. Got 116 in 24 hours. 4 of those people are in the community now, and they're doing an exceptional job. But I would not see them opening until maybe in the summer. It just kind of depends on what we need, what our turnover rate is from this last set of hires. So there's a lot of factors that go into that, and so I would say just pay attention to the social medias and stuff like that over the next coming months, and you should be able to end up seeing when that's going to happen. So,
And adding on to that question, how long usually your application open for?
12 to 24.
Hours?
Yep.
Alrighty. So next category is, what are all the subdivisions in the BCSD?
For this, y'all just want to go down your subdivisions that you personally run?
Yeah, of
Do it
course.
that way?
So
Oh,
I'm so I first started with Gray. This is Captain James, by the way. I first started with Gray. We went over and made a proposal to bring up the warrant division, which is the first time that the community has ever seen a warrant division like this. After a while of some operation, after running it a little bit, we decided that the best plan of attack would be to merge it with investigations and create a larger bureau which more people can join. So now what we have is investigations and the warrant division merged into one to make one big bureau, like I said. And yeah, so if you want to join it, you can choose to go down each path, but you can also get cross-trained in the other one. And I run both of those, but we also have COC in each. So it's a lot of fun to be able to do that.
whatever, Sully, if you want to do Ted and FTO.
Yep. So as it stands, I'm currently the assistant commander of Traffic Enforcement Division, which is referred to as TED. So we'll start with that one. Basically, our main focus, we respond to pretty much all accidents, both officer involved, and anything that's in our jurisdiction side. Usually the highways we will let state cover unless state doesn't have people. But all county roads, Joshua, Route 68, etc., up in Pluto, we'll usually respond. and they do a pretty lengthy documentation process, documenting all information, evidence, etc. And then we also respond to DUIs. So all DUIs within our policy is field sobriety tests can only be administered by a traffic unit or a supervisor. So we handle a lot of those as well, and my guys do a great job at that. Everyone is trained pretty well. It's just a good group of guys in there. It's available to everybody in the department at Deputy 1, which is tied with, I believe, K9 and maybe another division with the lowest rank that you can join. So it's a good foundation for those that aren't sure if they want to get involved with subdivisions or not. They can try traffic out and be like, do I like this kind of extra work? Because, I mean, if I'm being honest, there is a lot of paperwork and extracurricular stuff associated with the division. And obviously inside of it, we have the motor unit, which is exclusive to traffic. So you must be in traffic in order to become trained with our motor unit. We have something called Heat, which is still being developed right now by one of our guys inside the division, which is basically focusing on the highways with slick top ghosted cars and enforcing aggressive traffic and stuff like that. We have DUI checkpoints, trainings as well, and we host those around the county sometimes. But yeah, that's traffic pretty much in a nutshell. We also have traffic liveries for our cars, or for some of our cars, so deputies in the division get to run those. And then I also am the lead of training and development, which is basically our FTO department, as well as all sorts of development. So I handle basically myself, and then obviously Valentino, who's the supervisor within the certification as well. We handle trainings, development. So we handle ride-along procedures, training procedures, developing those ride-along procedures and training the procedures to add more stuff to them that will better our deputies moving forward. And we also have a new curriculum, which is our monthly trainings. Basically, every month there will be a training where deputies can attend, and we'll cover things that need to be covered. So, in a nutshell, we cover basically all the development of the department, pushing the department forward, and making sure that our guys are trained to the best of our abilities. But other than ride-alongs and trainings, that's basically all we handle. We also handle onboarding new FTOs. So at the rank of senior deputy, there's an invitation process. There's no application. If we think that you're a good fit for FTO, we'll bring you in and go from there. And then we have two stages. We have probationary FTO and full-time FTO. Probationary FTO are those that just joined, and then once they sit in on so many trainings and prove themselves worthy within the certification, we will bump them up to full FTO, where they can then host trainings and conduct probationary ride-alongs, which we follow documents for and all that. That's all I got for my divisions.
Great. Great. I want to pick up K9.
Yeah, so I'm the K9 commander. I'm in charge of the K9. When I came over as a corporal, I was handed the work to start doing, but I was not yet the K9 commander because it wasn't opened at the time. And then I eventually worked my way up, got to the K9 commander position, and then it just recently opened once we got our new vehicles. So it's been open since then. I've started doing a lot of work with it. I've onboarded another member of my K9 COC, Sergeant Wolf. He's not here right now, but he's also works with me on that. Me and him do a lot of work within there. We basically respond to anything where a dog would be needed. So we have two main certifications that the dogs are allowed to have. That's narcotics detection and ballistics/firearms detection. So narcotics, that's self-explanatory. They're looking for any sorts of drugs or specific drugs. I don't have the list open in front of me right now, but it specifically targets like marijuana, methamphetamines, opioids, stuff along those lines, to locate and track down. And then ballistics and firearms, that the dogs can detect to gunshot residue. If someone fired a weapon, they can detect the weapons themselves, bullets, spent casings, stuff like that. And then also all dogs are trained, except for the search and rescue dogs, not trained in this, but every other dog is trained in criminal apprehension. So that's pretty self-explanatory. It has to do with tracking down people, being able to track people down, and then obviously perform takedowns where they bite the person in order to get them to stop running as a less than lethal method. We have two kennel dogs as well. We have Odie and Dakota. Odie is our bomb dog, and then Dakota is our search and rescue dog. Both of those are used. There's not much else to say with K9. It's pretty self-explanatory there. Just I believe Deputy 1's once you become a Deputy 1, you can apply, and then you are brought in based on your application. We don't do an interview or anything like that, but you get trained, and then you do 2 ride-alongs, and then after that's complete, you become a full-time canine handler. You can begin handling your dog. That's pretty much it.
Val, you want
Hey,
to
I
talk about
muted my
SRU?
mic. Chloe, count how many
Yeah,
times
so I'm the commander of
Les
SRU.
says voice crack, okay?
The actual unabbreviated is the Strategic Response Unit. Basically, we're just kind of responsible for handling any sort of high-intensity tactical situation that occurs. Anything from a barricaded subject all the way to an active shooter, or bomb threats. It started off as James as the assistant commander, and then I kind of moved up, and James is now my assistant commander, with me as the commander, and Gray is my team leader. Basically, we have several certifications within SRU as well. Tactical medic, which is kind of Gray's thing. He oversees all that. He's very good with medical knowledge. Our EOD technicians, which is kind of James's stomping grounds. And then we have SRU snipers, tactical pilots, and then newly introduced tactical canine officer, which we're still working on development for that. Other than that, it's really not much to it. We kind of go in, get what we need to do done, and James or Gray want to touch on anything they can.
Nope, I don't really have much to say with obviously I do the tactical medic stuff, but I mean, other than that, not much to it. Just doing medical procedure on people before fire gets there. That's all that really is. And we have a total of 4 tactical medics in the team, so they all get utilized equally whenever we have SRU callouts.
Yeah, it's just like Valentino was saying, it's just a group of highly trained individuals who deal with the high stress situations, and it's something that it's probably one of our most demanded certifications. Probably even if you had to compare it to divisions as well, probably one of the most demanded. Everybody wants to join it once they achieve that rank, and I can see why. It's definitely a fun certification to pick up.
Yeah. For aviation and marine, there are 2 of our other certifications. Pretty self-explanatory. Aviation, fly a helicopter and call out suspects, 1080s, stuff like that. Marine helps with anything dealing with the water, pretty much. About as simple as you can put it. Then we have game warden. Pretty self-explanatory as well. They focus on fish and wildlife regulation, as well as state parks and stuff like that. I don't think we're forgetting anything. Pretty sure that's everything. So
All
we're
right.
good on that one.
CIU.
Oh yeah. CIU. We have crisis intervention unit. It's so new, I damn near forgot it. But CIU basically is for elderly, teens, mentally unstable individuals that we run into on patrol, and we have designated units that are trained in how to respond to that and how to handle those situations. And so the CIU's guys are really responsible for that, just kind of be a helping hand in times of need for the mentally unstable and as well as the old and the young. So
To summarize, we got Warrant Division, FTO, Traffic Enforcement Division, K9, SWAT, Game Warden, CIU, Air and Marine, correct?
yeah, warrant and investigations are merged into criminal or Bureau of Criminal Investigation.
Alright, thank you. Next is, what is your favorite subdivision and why?
Starting from the right.
Yes.
We want to do that, yeah.
Not to be biased, but I would say the traffic division. And the reason for that is it's not stagnant. And what I mean by that is the traffic division is a very proactive division. On the flip side of things, investigations, they kind of, and investigations is a whole nother realm, and it's a lot of fun. I used to be in it. But with investigations, it's kind of, you're ready to activate and investigate a crime. and we're the same way. We're ready to activate and investigate any motor vehicle accident or DUI. However, we also set up DUI checkpoints, so we proactive operations like that. We'll set up checkpoints usually with state, and we'll do stuff like that. We also have sting operations. Sometimes the Yellow Jack will open, and we will set up a sting operation and look for signs of DUI from people that leave the parking lot and stuff like that. What else do we have? Oh, speed traps. We've done a few speed traps, usually with state, where we'll take a nice section of the highway, usually Route 13, where the U-Tool is, and we will get on a radio frequency in-game, have an attack channel, and we'll basically have unmarked units staged on both ends to call out speeding vehicles, and we'll have marked units down the road who can then go and enforce those traffic violations. So we have a lot of proactive activities, and that's probably what makes traffic a lot of fun, as well as the motorbike unit that we have, because it's selective to our division. So it's a lot of fun to get out there and do that. It's different from being in a car all the time. So that's my traffic's got to be mine. That's all I got.
For me, I don't really run subdivision certifications. I just do normal patrol stuff. So, and I don't really have a favorite. So, just moving on to James.
Yeah, so I'm sure everybody here can guess what I was going to say, and I'm going to throw you guys for a little curveball here. My pride and joy is obviously Bureau of Criminal Investigation, so I'm going to say that's out of the water. I run that. It would be unfair to say. So I'm going to go ahead and say if I have to choose a division, I would say traffic or canine. Those are two that are extremely fun to run and just participate in. For certifications, it would definitely be SRU, and if I could put that on top of everything, I would, but it is classified as a certification, so I can't. But divisions, traffic, canine, and then certifications would be SRU.
Honestly, as James said, I kind of run SRU, so I'm not going to say it, and I'm going to agree with him on traffic and canine. I'm not part of traffic at the moment. Definitely going to pick it back up now that I have an extra subdivision slot with the merge of warrant and investigations. But yeah, traffic and canine, or honestly, probably BCI and canine. I honestly don't know. It's very hard between the two of those. But other than that, that's about it. Okay.
Yeah, so it's really hard for me not to say canine because obviously I love canine. But I really do enjoy traffic because I can run the motor unit. The motor unit is like my favorite thing to do when I'm not doing canine or normal patrol. And then obviously doing DUI checkpoints I really enjoy as well. Field sobriety tests, all that stuff. It's really fun to do. There's just a bunch of, when it comes to traffic, there's just a lot of really cool stuff you can do, and there's a lot of different options with everything that you get. So I'd have to say, if we're not counting canine, that has to be my favorite division.
Alrighty. So next question is, what is next for the BCSD, and is there anything new coming soon?
I can take this one. Vehicles really is kind of what's next. We've also got some stuff behind the scenes in the works. With our FTO department, I know James is working on a lot of stuff too. So we've got a lot of behind the scenes administrative things that are getting done, but in terms of real patrol stuff people will see on a day-to-day basis, it's really vehicles, and we got a dev that's knocking them out, so it's really nice to see.
Alright. Anything for any subdivisions while we have the head here?
I mean, if we're talking about like things that come with just canine, it would be a lot of behind the scenes things, nothing really that anyone on the outside would see. It's a lot more of just with trainings. We're making our trainings better and making them a lot more in detailed with how the drugs work and how weapons fire and just stuff when it comes to tracking down a lot more in depth. But that's really it with my division.
For BCI, nothing. Yes, nothing that I want to release right now, though.
Traffic. There are a few things I actually can say. We do have a lot of stuff on the way. Something I didn't include last time is when I first was promoted to supervisor under Major DJ, the division was extremely underdeveloped, and it really wasn't anything more than throwing a traffic livery on your car and going to maybe an MVA every month. So we've really added a lot of stuff. So something that my guys in the division can look forward to is obviously heat. There's no secret that's been a huge talking point within myself and DJ subdivision for a very long time. That's still being worked on by some of our guys inside the division. That'll be ready down the line, and there's a few proposals we'll make in the future upon new vehicles and etc. Aside from that, I got nothing for mine.
Okay. Moving on to what gave you the inspiration for the BCSD current vehicle skins?
A dev's 3 a.m. work. We'll put it that way. To put it short, I mean, I don't know where he drew that inspiration from. McCord made them at like 3 a.m. one morning and sent them to me, and I was like, those look really sick. And I was like, I want them. And we have them. So yeah, that's how that happened.
Alrighty. And what is your favorite vehicle and why?
Sorry.
Man, that's really tough because we have so many very nice vehicles. I'll cheat a little bit and go with two. Favorite SUV has got to be the Explorer, either a 16. I also really like the 14, and the 2021 is starting to grow on me a little bit. If I had to go with them, it's definitely the 16 through 18 Explorer and sedan. I'd go with. I like a good Taurus, so I'll go with the Taurus for sedans.
For me, it'd probably have to be. We've got an FPIU coming soon, and I think it's gonna be sick. So, but right now with what we currently have, I love our new Taurus, but it'll end up being that FPIU, I'm sure. James.
I don't know if you guys see that 14 Charger over there without a ram bar, but that is either the 14 Charger or the 18 Charger is definitely my favorite vehicle to drive around.
I'm gonna cheat like Roselli did. I'm gonna pick two just because it's kind of hard for me to pick one. My favorite SUV is by far the 20 Tahoe. And then for sedans, I really like the unmarked Taurus. It's clean as fuck. So
Yeah, with me, I guess if you're counting like kind of like quirky vehicles, if you want to call it that, that motorcycle back there, the motor unit, I love driving that thing. It's fun as fuck, and you can go really fast. Obviously there's a limit. You can't go like extremely fast, you know, but it can respond to calls very quickly and is very nimble. So I enjoy it. And then obviously, if you're talking about like regular patrol vehicles, I always love Taurus. Taurus is however you say that. So probably the Taurus.
Alrighty. Next is really not just a single department question. It can go for the community as a whole, but I'll let you answer this. Is what radio script do you use?
We use SAPR, San Andreas Police Radio by Avalanche Development.
Alright. Now moving on to what made you join the BCSD?
Cool. So for me, I was with a good group of buddies of mine from a very long time ago. And eventually we were kind of just looking around. We took a pretty long break from 5M, and we saw San Andreas Finest. We heard some good things about it. I heard some great things about it from a reference who's no longer in the community. So I eventually got lucky knowing that apps did not open as frequently as they did at the time. I thought it was like every month they open. I happened to get on one day and see that by chance police and SD apps were open. Given at the time I didn't really know much about either department, I kind of took a gamble and went sheriff, as I've never been in the sheriff's department before. At the time, it was a really good experience, and obviously there was a lot of road bumps, but I'm really happy I chose this department.
Les?
For me, just to kind of put it bluntly, I was sick and tired of seeing a department fail. I'd already ran 2 other departments, and I basically talked to the other CMs and said I'll bite a bullet. I mean, for the people who don't know, I was in state before, and the SO had just kind of been felling for a long time, and it had kind of been a laughing stock here in SAF. And I said we're done with that, so we're gonna turn it into something that people respect, and I think we've done that. And I think this department's come a very long way. So that was my main reason for coming over, was I simply could not watch it fail anymore. It was on my last nerve. So
Yeah, so that's a fun question. I was in BCSD a year or two ago, 2018, 2019, I believe. Little break for a while, and then I came back, and now a little break for a while less, and we came back, and I joined back to, so when I was gone the first time, I was a captain and then gone, and then I came back and I joined PD, or I joined Civ first and then went into PD as a secondary. Got up to the rank of sergeant. I didn't have anything against PD. I loved PD at the time, but it wasn't my sort of vibe, my cup of tea. I had always been in the sheriff's department, and I wanted to go back for a little while there. So I did, and I thought it was the best time as any to come back. When I saw that Les came over and took over leadership over here, I said, well, might as well start to try to help them get back on their feet and build the department to what it is now, which I think we have done very well.
I'll be honest, same thing with James. I kind of started off in PD. Honestly, the city's just not really my cup of tea. I don't like stopping for red lights. I kind of like to be able to cruise on an open road and patrol. On top of that, at the time I saw the BCSD struggling, and I felt as if I could try to help in some way. And I decided that I was going to transfer up to the BCSD and see what I could do and see if I enjoyed my time here. And honestly, I don't regret it. I absolutely love it here. So
Yeah, this is gonna be a very common theme because I was also in PD, as along with these two on my left. I was in PD. I saw Les come over, and it was it was a tough decision for me because I really did enjoy PD, and I still have nothing against the department, but I did end up making the decision to come over here, and I was really happy I did, and it seems like they did kind of need me to, because I mean, the second I came over, I was immediately given tasks to do that no one else was doing at the time. So it was like I don't know, a very spur of the moment type decision, but it ended up benefiting myself a lot, as well as I believe the rest of the department. Not to make myself sound really cocky or toot my own horn, but I believe it was a good decision all around. So yeah, I can't really tell you why exactly I made the decision, because I still don't really know, but hey, I'm really glad I did, and look at where I am now. So that's all I got.
Everyone holds PD on their resume besides Rosalie, huh?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I used to be
correct.
a boss. All right, don't ever forget that.
Alright, yeah. It's Chief. Alright, next is, what is your favorite part about the BCSD?
People to my right, really, and everyone else in the department. Half of this community, and you can ask anyone here, they'll agree with me, is the people. It's not your typical, you get in and patrol every day, and Les is at the best. Half the community is outside of patrol, being able to hang out with everybody, play different games, talk about different stuff, and just having that nice balance between patrol, developing the department, and just having fun together is really, I gotta say, it's my favorite part. And aside from that, the community's development as a whole. I was here when we had a lot of stuff going on, way above my head, but obviously some people leaving and all that. And just to see how the community bounced back, 100 times stronger. Not to mention we have the best developers, in my opinion. One of our newly acquired devs is an absolute beast with vehicles, and Price, all those guys do a hell of a job. Definitely stuff I can't comprehend, but everyone does great. And The favorite part, part of the department is really is everybody in it, as well as our values and just how respectful everybody is. Really, off the list.
Yeah, this one for me, not to get too sappy on people, but it's definitely the people that are, you know, sitting around this little group right here. I know that at any point in time, whether it be personal or community related, I can go talk to any of these guys and they'll give me advice. They'll tell me straight up how they feel, what they feel, and they're not going to bullshit me. And that's something I treasure a lot in terms of the department itself as well. Just my favorite part, you know, I have nowhere else to go. I'm at the top. Is seeing people work their way up, seeing people develop and grow into different people. I mean, when you know someone for a couple years, like I've known some people, I've seen okay how they were before and how they are now, you know, and it's awesome to watch people develop, especially when you help with that and stuff like that. And I've always said this, and I'll continue to say it: the people, by far, are what makes the community and are what makes the department. You know, when I transferred in, I'm sure Roselli probably remembers this. The first thing I told everybody that was in there, the only people I need is who I got. You know, and so that was kind of the staple theme of this department for a while was the only people we need is who we have. If people come in and they want to help, we're going to take it. But at the end of the day, it's about every single individual, every single person contributing, and that's what makes this department great. Is because I genuinely feel that our Dep 1s contribute to the department, our Dep 2s contribute. We've had people in very low positions. As a Deputy 2, I mean, more as a CIU organizer and was he a warrant team lead? I mean, we try to include everybody, and that's the best thing about this department is the inclusion in terms of responsibility and activity and stuff. So that's kind of how it is for me.
Yeah, Roselli and Les put that, you know, the best it could be. As cheesy or sappy as it may sound, it's definitely the truth. I mean, going into patrol in game, that's only part of what all of this is. Like they said, the people that you meet, the relationships that you create, um, it's more than just the in-game patrol aspect. It's actually creating friends, meeting people, and bonding with one another, even if it's online. There's plenty of people who see each other in real life as well. So I mean, it like I said, it's not just the in-game portion. There's so much more to it, and I think that's what the coolest thing about it is. Everybody that you can meet and all the friends that you can make as well.
I'm gonna hop onto the bandwagon here and say that by far my favorite part of this department is not patrolling, it's the people in this group right here. And to mention some names that aren't here who couldn't make it: Major DJ, Sergeant Wolf, Sergeant Bernard, Sergeant Hill. They all make this group here as tight knit as it is. Um, Obviously, we all work together in a non-biased way, but most importantly, we're all here for each other and we all keep each other up when we're down. And that's something that I couldn't find anywhere else. And that's something I appreciate. So great.
Yeah, like there's not much else to really say about it. Like I agree with everyone else. You know, this not only the COC, but you know, we've all been through a lot of, you know, crappy stuff, and yet we're still, you know, here. We're still kicking. We're still talking to each other, and we're still helping each other through it all. And that doesn't just go for the COC. That goes for the entire department. We're all very close, I believe. Like, I mean, I've talked one-on-one with, I believe, pretty much every person in the department, except for obviously the new guys who are just here. But even them, we've all talked to. Like, there's not a single person in this department that we don't know to some sort of personal level. You know, I mean, majority of us know each other's names even. So, you know, it's just stuff like that. Just the fact that we're all really close and we all can go to each other for not just like patrol things, not just for stuff in game, but for actual real problems that we're having in our lives. We feel comfortable and we can go to each other. And I just think that's a great thing to have in a department. And yeah, there's not much else to say on that really.
All right, very humbling. Next thing is, what is your favorite area to patrol?
For me, I think I got to go with 2 areas, and that's because personally I try my best to spread out, but everyone in here knows that is difficult at times. My one area, I'm not going to say Harmony or Sandy because I want to leave that out of this question, just because I mean, if you ask anyone here, that's probably all of us. We all love that area for a ton of different reasons, but I like being out towards the hill, the west side of 68. So like the Vineyard and area like that, the windy roads and stuff. I just feel like out there it's a lot. I mean, there's not much action, which isn't the reason I like it, but it's just a lot more taming than being in the same loop, Route 68 Joshua through Sandy every single time. I know Gray likes to go out there too. Actually, I've seen him a few times patrolling out there as well. Personally, I really like being out there. And the scenery, even though it's in game, the scenery is actually really nice as well. And not to mention, if there's a call over towards GOH, you're always going to be closest to it. And if you need to get up to Paleto, you have easy access to GOH, just shoot right up. Yeah, personally, I also really like the highways. Being in state for a few weeks and just how I am personally, I always like the highways. So being near GOH as well, if I'm active as traffic, sometimes I shoot radar out there near the tunnel and stuff like that. That's where I like to patrol.
Mine stuff is just West 68. It's a nice area. It sucks in terms when you go up in the hills, lose some radio signals sometimes, but other than that, I really love that area.
Yeah, so like Roselli said, I think we all know where the majority of our calls come from. The Sandy area, Harmony, and that is probably 70 to 80% of our call volume. So I'm like he said, I'm going to keep those 2 areas out of this. I like to actually patrol in Paleto quite a bit. I get more calls than you'd think up there. And traffic stops because people don't think there are any cops up there either. So I do like, even though it's super small, I love patrolling in Paleto, sitting at gas stations and just patrolling around the house area. I think it's really peaceful.
Honestly, I really don't have a favorite area to patrol. I think I'd have to agree with Les. The West 68 area is really nice. It's just a nice area to kind of drive around. So
Zilli already pretty much pointed out the area where I go to. I go up in the hills. I like to stay spread out away from other units to make sure I'm covering a larger area. But obviously, being a supervisor and a command member, I tend to have to go to where the other units are just to watch, see how they're doing, make sure they're spreading out, making sure that I'm attaching to their calls, seeing how they're doing on the calls, especially the new ones. But yeah, if I don't, I tend to be up in those hills, like he said. But I also kind of like driving down like the main street of Grapeseed. There's a lot of good radar spots that you wouldn't think to go to. That's another thing. A lot of people don't run radar in like that area, the downtown strip. So a lot of people will actually speed through there, and you end up getting a good couple traffic stops out of it. So it's good to sit down there every once in a while as well.
Ready? Do you have units that stay in Paleto Bay?
I think, I mean, we don't specifically assign people to districts. It's awful because of the area we have to cover. It's just, there's no fair way to do it, pretty much. Like, in the city there is a fair way to do it, but down here there's really not, or up here I guess there's really not. So it's more so just making sure units rotate through it. Usually when I rotate through Paleto, I will end up seeing 1 or 2 people, whether it be us or it ends up being state. I know state hits Paleto a lot, so that's kind of a combined jurisdiction type thing. Paleto, so I see a lot of state units when I'm up there, as well as some of our county guys. So it just kind of depends on what's going on the day when it comes to that.
All right. For the next part of the questions I'm going to go through is more of your in-game roleplay related. What is the most complex scenario you dealt with?
So this was actually my 3rd day as a sergeant. I've had experience with scene command in the past due to Les's way of running his department. He likes to push he likes to give people opportunity to see, their leadership abilities, etc. This was my first real leadership test, if you want to call it. Scene command. We had a string of 3 bank robberies, one in Polito, one in Route 68, and one in the 13. And I was primary on the scene, on the first bank robbery. Eventually, one thing led to another. Hour and a half later, after a ton of pursuits and great work by investigators, we ended up at the O'Neill Ranch. When I pulled up to the house, automatic gunfire rang from the top. And basically, keep in mind, this is my 3rd day as a sergeant. I don't really have a ton of experience with scene command yet. PD SWAT responded, SRT responded, SRU. And at the time, we didn't really have the whole COC with divisions. It was really early on, so SRU didn't really have a top gun who took tactical command. So I'm not going to lie, I was a little nervous with that. It was Lieutenant Young Jr. from PD at the time came up, and I was kind of bouncing ideas off people, and he's like, hey, you're scene command, and that kind of hit me. I was like, wow, this is a huge scene, I got to make sure I'm making the right calls. Overall, I thought to the best of my ability, thought I made the right decisions, and everything ended up coming out peacefully, so I think I did a good job with it. And that was really a large step for me, but it was extremely complex in nature because there were hostages, and when a scene goes on for an hour and a half to 2 hours and there's so much tension that's been built, there's a lot of pressure to make sure you're making the right decisions. But that was definitely probably one of the most complex situations for me due to the fact that there were hostages, long guns, etc. So there was a lot to think about. And it's also knowing how to use your resources effectively when you have TAC teams on scene, knowing how to make sure each side is covered, build entry teams, etc. So for me, that was probably the most complex situation I've ever been put into.
I've been put into a ton, but I would just say, for me, when it comes to complex situations, it varies a lot in terms of scene command and stuff like that. Overall command, a lot of the street race type pursuits and stuff like that are pretty taxing on someone who's in command because you're trying to coordinate 5 or 6 different pursuits at the same time, which really just falls back on the idea of dishing out responsibility. One that I don't know if you heard a dog in the background, but I apologize if you're there. But one thing that kind of got me, and I noticed it, and how we kind of run the department, giving people leadership. I remember a scene we had a bank robbery. Everybody in this channel besides me did it, and they did a bank robbery up in Polito. I caught 2 of them on Great Ocean. They shot at me. At that time, I'm pretty much ineffective in a command position. But what I saw was more so I called out to see, okay, what are we doing at the bank? And I have a corporal come over there. He's like, we've cleared it. We're out. Right. And I was like, good. They've done it. And then it was from there I was calling out, trying to get extra units, getting birds in. And the whole time what I noticed was I was not really calling shots. I had Sergeant Bernard that day calling a lot of shots. Major, who's our dispatch director, he's a corporal. He was calling a lot of shots up in Polito on what was going on there. And it was it just kind of showed how we structure the department, the responsibility we give. I was able to focus what I'm doing, and they're able to handle their own jobs. And that's kind of how it comes down to leadership is if I have too much and I've got to tell them to do everything that they need to do, I'm going to be ineffective, and they just go out on their own. They take initiative, they do their things. And that's what makes these things really stress-free. For me, I very rarely get stressed out because we've, pounded it into these guys' heads of you take initiative when you see a chance. And if you mess up, you mess up. Who cares, right? But that's kind of how it goes for me. I don't really have anything that's real complex or taxing mentally. It's just, allow people to make decisions when they're in the position to make that decision, and your job becomes, very stress-free. So that's kind of it for me.
Yeah, so I'll kind of go with a different approach for this question. Obviously, the scene command stuff, the tactical command stuff, that is all very, it is complex, and because there's a lot you have to keep in mind. And obviously, those scenes can get very, very stressful because you have 20 people talking to you at once, and you're trying to take in all that information. I would say they're more stressful than complex, though, because as long as you have your proper training, you're going to get through it. I would definitely say I don't know if I have an exact scenario for you, but there's been multiple times where civs will test your knowledge on things, and there's some civs that are very knowledgeable on that. Maybe it's off duty, or maybe it's LEO running civ as their secondary, and they're just testing you, testing to see how much you know. And I can, depending on what they're saying, and if you've been through that situation before, they can be very complex to figure out. I've had to ask other people, like I'm still learning. We're all still learning in here about. We're not LEOs, obviously. We're doing it for fun, so we're still all learning it. Just all the knowledge about LEO and policy, procedure, case law, even things like that. If they're testing you on that, there's been a couple times where I've had to ask less, the major. I've even had to ask lower ranked people as well, because maybe they have more knowledge about something than I do. And, kind of get their knowledge on how they would handle the scene and then handle it from there, because I have never ran into a situation like that before. Like I said, I don't have an exact scenario for you, but it has happened quite a few times while I've been here.
Honestly, the most complex scene I've really been on, to recall, is the situation where Bailey was kidnapped, and that was just because the sheer amount of tactical units that were mobilized for that scene, and the amount of effort that had to go into that. Being it was a firefighter that had gotten kidnapped and not just a civilian, obviously there's a lot more on the line there. On top of that, the negotiations that went into play, which ultimately failed, and then having to make entry into the bunker and come into contact with several armed gunmen, it was stressful. So
Yeah, so obviously my most complex things that I do is usually medical related, so I'm not going to sit here and explain those because those would be honestly boring. So instead, I wanted to point out this one call. I remember it very specifically. It was an EOD activation. It was myself, Captain James, Sergeant Hill, and Sergeant Wolf. It was us four, and we were obviously we had activated EOD because we kept getting bombs planted in these different areas, and it was throughout like the Cassidy Trail area, like backcountry, deep, where you hardly even get any radio signal. And we believed that we were possibly being watched from up on like the sides of the hills because we kept getting cryptic messages like indicating that. So we thought at any second we'd be sniped, and for that reason we called a helicopter. Well, the helicopter, while it was on our way to us, actually crashed. So we at that point had no overwatch, we had nothing, and we had no other units able to help because all the units were responding to that crashed helicopter, and I believe there was a pursuit going on at the same time. So there was a lot going on, and we basically had to have complete security around us at all times while we're doing these EOD activations. We had to have our TAC gear on, and it's like when we're going through these wooded areas, we have to like make a circular formation just to go through them. Feel like we were in a war zone, the way that we had to protect ourselves, because at any point we could be screwed over by this person where we have no idea where they are. And we ended up having to defuse like 3 bombs that day, just trekking through the woods in our little formation with the EOD suits on. It was pretty scary, but it was very stressful just because at any point we had no idea what was going to happen, and we had to pre-plan out every decision that we made. But yeah, that'd probably be the most complex call that I can think of off the top of my head.
Now let's take a 180, and what is your all-time favorite scene you've been on?
I think this one involves Les and good old Noli. I just got on shift second hour. Wasn't expecting anything to happen. I think I was a sergeant at the time. I was heading down towards Sandy on 13, and I encountered looked like Jesus ×2 on BMX bikes. So there were 2 BMX bikes with 2 guys. I pulled them over, and I knew immediately it was them because I heard from the car. I wonder if he's wanting to know about the word of the Lord. So I approach, and before I can even start talking, they both pull out books and start preaching the gospel to me. And it was so hard to stay in character and not laugh because just knowing them at a game like that shit would kill me. But I was trying so hard to keep it professional, but And I got the information, and they start reading John 17:55. A man only knows himself until he's gone through the river, or something to that extreme. So that, I think that, and I'll also throw this on real quick. There's another scene. I pulled over Les. I think he was in state at the time. He was using his, probably my favorite Civ character, Clyde Montgomery. I pulled him over, and from my patrol car, I heard a duck call through the in-game voice chat from his car, and that was the first time I've ever heard anything like that. And it was just, I even took him out of the car at one point, detained him, and he's like, before you put me in your car or whatever, he's like, can I use my duck call? And I let him do it, and he just ripped an absolute massive duck call right in game. So those two scenes are number one on top for me. I think we got to put them up there. Pass off to Les.
Yeah, those were good. Probably one of the funniest ones, hearing the story after. I mean, there's so many scenes that you could say were your favorite, just stuff that comes to the top of my head after that. He said that one. Clinton and Noli were on Civ, and they were sovereign citizens to Gray, and he called me as a supervisor, and when I got there, they completely switched and were like, oh yeah, we'll hand you, information on all this. I don't know. It was just really funny because I knew what they were doing when it happened. And so, yeah, I could tell what they were doing. But, yeah, that was just a funny one that I ran into. There's tons of scenes that are really good that Civ's put a lot of effort into as well. So it's just hard to think of them off the top of your head.
Yeah, that's a hard question. I would definitely say any scene with involving James Whitney is going to be a good scene because they're funny. One sec. We can pass it off to Valentino for 1 second.
Honestly, anything like with James Whitney or like Roselli's DOT character, always going to be really funny. Obviously, James Whitney's kind of not all there, so he likes to scream a lot, and it's really hard to stay in character with that. Another specific scene that I'll mention though, was when we were sent out for a search and rescue because Gray had a character that had gotten stuck on a bridge, and James, trying to get to him, tripped and fell into the water, and then Gray followed him because he thought that's what he was supposed to do. And that was a really hard one to contain myself on, watching them both just plummet. Gray's more out of stupidity than anything else, but yeah, pass it off to Gray.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we get that very clear. I was a Civ during that. I did not purposely jump in the water as my LEO character. Les, just pointing that out.
Yeah, neither did I, Gray. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, yeah, no, like Les pointed out that scene there. That scene was hilarious because the entire time they were being like, no, we're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. And then as soon as Les pulls up, they're like, oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah, it was hilarious. And then James Whitney, oh, my God. I was running K9 with Val. I believe he was streaming at the time. And he pulled over the moped and something about like super gas. I don't know. But he just started revving his goddamn engine and like screaming. It was hilarious. I don't think I've ever laughed that hard in my life. But yeah, no, James Whitney. Whitney's a pretty funny character.
So, are you still going?
No, I was just gonna say James.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, like I was saying, James Whitney is probably one of my favorite characters to interact with. He's quite a character. I think that another funny scene that we were on that was just kind of ironic. It was a pursuit, I believe, ended at the lighthouse, and we were talking about this last night actually, and I said I was going to bring it up, so now is a perfect opportunity. I think Gray had a dog who was played by Valentino, if I remember correctly, and the person had their hands up at the edge of a cliff, and we were telling them, commanding them, come over to us, so they don't walk off the edge. Well, the dog is released on them, and the dog bites them off the side, and they both fall. Gray and I run up to try and we didn't think there was that big of a fall, first of all, so don't blame us for that one. But we ran up, and then we didn't realize that there was a huge drop, so we fell as well. So in total, there was 4 people that fell over the side of like a 25-foot cliff into the water. So we fell all the way down. We got the suspect at the end of the day, so that's kind of all that matters. We all of our clothes were ruined because of the water, and this was during the cold months as well. So, you know, a little bit of hypothermia never hurt anybody.
Well, has there ever been a scene where you accidentally broke character?
For me,
Yeah.
I don't. On the Leo side of things, okay, I'll say this: when I'm a civilian trying to hold an accent for a good half hour, 45 minutes, especially when I'm getting arrested in the back of a car, talking shit with whoever's arresting me, sometimes it will just drop the accent. I don't really say I'm going out of character. It's just I go from talking like this to talking how I am now, so things change up pretty quick. Leo, the most I've gone out of character is sometimes I've laughed, and you might be able to hear that on some Civ scenes, if you want to call it "quote unquote" going out of character. But other than that, I try not to. So we set a good example for the guys under us, so no one else is doing that. That's all I have, Les.
Never like on purpose, like not because I was mad or anything like that. I have broken character before to deal with some unruly children. I will say that, but that was for commanded senior reasons. I've had to break character before and remove some people. So yes, that has happened, but for those reasons.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with Roselli. Civ stuff can get really funny at times, and you'll laugh, and that's probably the extent of broken character that I've done. But like getting mad at people, no, nothing like that. Never broken character. Like to that extent on Elio. So off to Valentino.
Yeah, honestly, the same thing. I mean, some Civ scenes are really, really hard to contain yourself, and you can be heard laughing or giggling on the radio sometimes. I've done that, but other than that, I've never purposely broken character. Unless the situation pulled somebody to an admin sit for spamming memes in general. So.
Yeah, as Elio, no, I've never broken character, but there's a specific time that I remember when I was Civ. I believe it was Noli. Me and James were the Civs, and it was Noli and Garland who pulled us over in PD jurisdiction. And I had my phone on me, and I just kept playing the stupid Samsung ringtone, and saying that my grandma was calling me, and I was like laughing hysterically while I was playing the Samsung ringtone into the mic. That's probably the only time that I've ever really broken character as a Civ because of how hard I was fucking laughing at that. But as Elio, no, I don't really break character. I try not to, at least.
Well, that's for your in-game characters. Now let's take it more outside. We begin with who is the funniest person in the department.
I think it's a tie. I gotta put a tie between Valentino and Les. Valentino comes out with some shit sometimes where I'll laugh for a good minute just thinking how he thought of it, and I'll laugh just because of the humility of it. And then Les just sometimes with some of the shit he says, like the "Clayed ass." Every time I join a voice channel, that's all I hear. I hear "Clayed ass." So
Quite us? Quite us.
yeah. So I'll just run a voice channel, not expecting anything, and hear that. So it's between those two for sure. Les.
God, this one's difficult. The entire CSC is funny as hell. I think Roselli. Roselli's pretty funny. Ballas, James, literally all of them are. Everybody has their moment. Roselli, I'm not gonna say that actually. Anyways, we'll move on.
Really?
I can't choose a single person because, like Les said, everybody in it just has a sense of humor. You know what I mean? So, that I love tormenting Gray though. So if I had to choose, I would say Gray because our conversations make me laugh.
Yeah, that's a really fucking hard question to answer. I'm sorry. We we kind of all have our moments where like we'll say something stupid and everybody just laughs hysterically for the next 10 minutes. And it's a very frequent thing.
What you laughing about right now?
What are you laughing?
Just so, something that was recently put in a chat somewhere. But I'm gonna pass this off to Gray.
Yeah. So there's I'm trying to think of all the times that I've like wheezed, laughed. Apparently my wheeze laugh makes Roselli die. So but one time when we were like trying to film a promo video for a Civ thing, Roselli just kept doing the /E lap dance 2 for like a second and then stopping it, and he just like kind of like do this weird little twerk thing. Oh my god, that was funny. And then James always knows exactly what to say to kill me. And same thing with Valentino, and they usually go along the same lines. I'm not gonna say what they say, but every single time I can't breathe because of how hard I'm laughing. So that's it.
Let's stem off that and decide who has the best roast.
Sorry, I was watching some best roast.
Yeah.
I think if I had to go with the best roast, I think I gotta go with Val again because, dude, I'll tell you what, you come at him, which I do all the time. You know, you deal fire with fire. If you hand out the fire, you're gonna get it right back. Very common in this department, and you'll hear it from everyone in here. If you can't take it, do not dish it. Your rank, who you are in the department, goes out the window. If you're gonna hand it out, you're gonna get it right back. This is kind of how we bond, how we get through things. I think everybody in this department, I think humor is our number one thing. So I'd say Nick. Nick will come at you if you come at him. I mean, that's all of us in here, but he comes out with some shit sometimes that you're like, all right, next. So I go with him for that. But everyone in here has a backbone, and they'll go back at you if you come at them. And it's nothing personal. It's just, you know, how we mess around with each other.
Yeah, we're talking about roast, right?
Indubitably.
Okay, young. I would say Roselli's impressions of some people are fucking hilarious. He turns his camera on, does impressions. We have the time of our fucking lives here. I'm just gonna put that out there. So it's bad. All right,
Probably. Nah, I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest with you. It's the same thing with who's the funniest. You can't answer it because everybody, like we said, has their moments. So, but again, I'm gonna say myself towards Gray every single day is the best. It's the best rivalry.
I'd have to honestly agree with James. Anything towards Gray is absolutely, ruthless.
It's fair game.
It's fair game. I mean, Gray's our little pog champ, to be honest here. Everybody's got their little things, and we all roast each other. Sometimes, I'll add the boys to a call out of confidence, and they embarrass the fuck out of me. But at Gray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I severely crippled Valentino yesterday. But that was payback. So, and I just gotta appreciate that you call me your little pog champ, quote unquote. Yeah. No. Literally, all these guys roast the shit out of me. So I can't really pick a single one.
He's like our little brother.
Every single person here knows exactly what to say to get at me, so I can't even pick one.
Yeah, I think we all know exactly the way to piss Gray off.
Mm-hmm.
Do it all the time.
We love him. We love him.
We love him, yeah.
We love him, little brother.
Shit gets serious. It's serious. We all have each other's backs, but we have
nobody else gets to fuck with Gray. Don't fuck with Gray, or we'll fucking kill you.
or not that far, but yeah. Anyways, next question, I guess.
Well, that concluded all the pre-questions I had for you all. Now we can look into the chat and see if anyone in the chat has questions. If you're all looking in the chat too, you can pick out for yourself to answer to.
You know, I think Becky has something to say.
Give it a few time while we sip tea, talk about it. Roselli impressions.
Love and route.
Okay, so sensitive for the chat impressions. Listen, Wes, I'm professional. I need to be okay. a good
Yeah, I'm
friend of
calling
ours-
bullshit on that one.
Thank you, DJ. I don't believe anyone asked you for your input on that matter. Anyways,
Oh, you're welcome, man.
first
You're absolutely welcome.
impression, a good friend of our, William, back from another community, always cracked us up. He calls it, Saber Twelvin, right? He's got the most New York accent you can imagine, so he's always funny. Impressions. This is so difficult, and Les knows exactly why, so I'm being very careful here. I always make fun of Gray. I'll just lower or I'll higher the pitch of my voice sometimes and just say stuff Gray says. He doesn't like that too much, but you know.
Yeah, you have a demonstration.
Yeah, give us an example, Roselli. Go ahead.
Gray likes to say, yeah, what if I hypothetically did this and this? Would you be happy?
And he talks like that all the time.
In my defense, that is an impression of someone else, so I'm just gonna say that.
And then everything else is not sensitive, so I can't really answer the other impressions.
Hang on. I think Les's impression of me is definitely a good one, Les. If you want
You
to
saying
give
right,
him a
mate?
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's a
Oh,
daily
hold on,
dealing.
One more.
How you doing, buddy?
Sergeant Hill. He had a
Hear
very
me out.
unique tone. We'll always mess with him. We'll be like, all right, man, hear me out. Because he likes to whisper. He'll go, hear me out, man. Would you like us to add booty shorts to investigations? Stuff like that all the time. So we mess with him as well. That's all the impressions I can say right now.
That was actually put into our investigations command chat at one point. It's not a joke. It was a joke, but it was actually...
Honestly, he
Right.
brings it up as a joke, but he could probably
yeah,
be
he brought
serious
it up
about
as a
it.
joke, but it was very funny. Titan said, "Here's my question for the COC: How does one become built different like you guys?"
20 sit-ups.
Not simply that.
At
have to-
least 10 push-ups.
Becky, as an outsider, you should chime in on this one.
Well,
Becky has been spending a lot of time with us recently. I think she can best.
I'm sorry,
From-
what was the question?
How does one become built different like us in the PTSD COC?
Can I plead the fifth?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna plead the fifth.
We do not patrol us, no.
all about the
We
last
used
section in there
to.
that you skipped over less. Says who's better at Madden? Roselli is.
What?
Okay, okay, buddy. Okay,
All
buddy.
right, easy.
Okay,
Easy.
buddy.
Okay, this conversation. is for
I
a little bit
literally
less
almost
time, you know.
destroyed Les with the Jags. I'm just gonna put that out there right now.
Yes,
Jags.
you almost did.
So, anyways, the question was who's better, and I believe it would be me.
I
by
believe it would be
many
me. Let's have a
reasons.
Madden competition right now.
Yeah, it was between me and Les.
Nope.
You're
I.
probably better.
Okay.
We will have a Madden competition after this if we need to. Okay, we will
Alright.
solve this. Anyways, yeah, that. I'm
Yes. Any more questions? Keep them coming while we wait.
I believe Blochov Super had a question.
No, I believe Steel and Velvet actually already answered that question. We can skip that one.
Me?
Answer denied.
Negative. Go back
No,
to
no. It's
King
been
dubs.
approved. Respectfully, Captain James, your question's been answered. Thank you.
10-4. Major K. Dejong.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for addressing me.
You know,
Appreciate you.
while we wait on questions here, DJ, how has your day been? I know you just woke up
Alright,
from your.
we got a question. Who is the
Oh.
highest? Who's the highest ranking in SAF?
Me.
James, the question wasn't who has the most desire for a vest.
The coolest sunglasses.
The overall
I'm
desire
just
for
gonna
a
look
vest.
at myself the whole time in the stream.
Yeah. Highest ranking in SF. We don't have like a director position or anything like that. So it's just a group of CMs, and then it's a group of command members, and then it works down the chain like that. So, yeah. I'm gonna scroll up, see if there's something in the past that haven't been answered yet.
Right.
Please stop talking, Valentino. Appreciate you.
Oh my god, James.
Who made the BCSD and who came up with the car idea and livery idea? Was asked earlier. The original sheriff was Duckman, and then car idea and livery idea. The livery idea was McCord. The cars, we have so many right now. Justin and 7R, we'll say that. Just let me know if any new questions go through the bottom.
There's also another question from Justin Montero asking if someone is in investigations, are they able to be flexible with what they're wearing? Depends on the situation. So it's the same thing with warrant and investigations. If you're running an active case for investigations, like questioning somebody or going down to a scene, you're allowed to wear a relaxed clothing structure, like jeans, basically business casual is kind of what we go for with that. Unless you're doing obviously like a drug operation where you're buying drugs, and you can look like a hood rat. But same thing with warrant. We have a different uniform structure for everything we do. We have a jump out team and not investigations, but like tactical operations and logistical operations. So it depends on the situation to answer that question.
I can answer this question. How many sergeants do we have? We have 3. We have Sergeant Bernard, Sergeant Wolf, and Sergeant Hill. Those are our 3 sergeants that we have, and we lift with them all the time.
Oh yeah.
I'm waiting for the day he was able to say that.
It's okay.
I am currently the oldest member in SA.
What?
Yeah. At the whopping age of 12.
Okay, Valentino. I told you that in confidence, buddy. Thank you.
I'm sorry, James.
Well, if we're talking about like number age, wouldn't that be? Oh wait, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure like
You
what
can't-
is it?
can
It
you
was
say
Yo,
like-
that?
Fatal has a question.
Well, Fatal,
I have the best
me, myself,
aviators,
and
thank
I.
you.
All right, I can just mute James.
I have the best aviators. There's no question against
I
that.
don't know about that one. I've been wearing these for months.
I've been wearing these for years.
You call yourself. You have a great aviators. You must have state troopers on your resume. So me and Les can only answer this, along with Valentino.
What
Excuse
is
me?
Face, I know you're right.
To talk
Guys, I
about
have 2 weeks
aviators.
2
experience. I had a
weeks.
2-week stint in state, okay?
All right, a
I
minimum
can
of
wear
1
these.
month experience.
Okay. Anyways, there's another question. Which siren pack do you recommend?
I recommend the Valentino Sign Pack, because it's one of the best.
Please stop.
I second that, though I don't use it.
Please stop.
We also
Why
got
don't
a
we
question
choose
from
all
Beckford.
blues?
Why did you choose all blues, Wes?
That was it from Bedford.
That was
I don't know who that was from, but it's because red and blues belong in a city. All blues belong in a county. That's just how I feel. And,
Agreed.
yeah.
I don't. agree.
There's some
So,
debate about that one.
James.
So to add on to that, he says, and I quote, "Red and blues belong in the city. All blues belong in the county."
Are we about to have this
Now.
conversation?
Let
I
me
didn't think it's a good idea
let
to do
me
this.
put you on this topic then, Les. Why does my state have all red and blues?
What's your state?
Your rebuttal?
Because I don't care.
Yo, what's your state?
I said it in the beginning.
Idaho.
Yes.
All right, we'll leave it there. Continue on.
Face, it's time for
We have a really good question. Pineapple on pizza? Absolutely not. If you do that, you are a disgrace. With all due respect.
no
Anyone else have
pineapple.
anything to say?
I agree with Roselli.
Pineapple on Hawaiian pizza, please.
Pineapple? No, shut up.
Nope.
Nope.
Democracy? No against 1. All right, perfect.
Yep.
Nope.
I just got 4-star feed.
Get mad.
Stay mad. Stay.
Is there
Great.
any other questions? Anything else? People.
How many sergeants do you have in the BCSD?
Gray covered that.
3. Wolf Hill
Yep.
Bernard / Barnyard.
/ nod.
Any other questions? What are we thinking, chat? What are we thinking?
Gray reference chat.
What do you have for us, chat? Anything good?
Fatal said, "quote unquote," can I get that proof? I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
Valentino,
that
you want to
question's
go ahead?
already in the progress of being answered. Please go ahead and refrain. Thank you.
Copy that.
10-4. I'd just like to point out that Valentino does not have his tattoos on today.
Oh my.
He left them on his other arms. He left
He
his
left
sleeve
these-
at home.
Yeah, he left,
His
he
little
left these
got a
little
new one.
fake sleeve at home.
Titan has a
CSC
good
member-
question.
Every
Alright,
CSC
yeah.
member.
Titan has a good question.
I don't.
I can read
I'll
them.
just
I
start with
want to
mine.
do
I
this
have
one.
Yeah, Gray, go for it.
Tortellini and
Yeah,
whatever
okay.
else
So
anyone-
lest I like to call him Mr. 10 Gaming because I think that's the funniest shit
Dump
in
Truck.
the world. Or yeah, Dump Truck. That's another good option. We call DJ. I mean, that is pretty much his nickname, DJ. But
DJ,
Kangi.
Kangi,
Yeah,
Major Mustard,
James. We call him.
Upside Down Man.
James,
Yeah.
can I say your nickname?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we call James Ballsy because it's part of his real life name. It's not because that's inappropriate. Roselli, we call him Tortellini. They call me or Cletus, Ravioli, any one of
Yeah.
them. Me,
Getting
they
that
call
around to Brazil, yep.
they call
That's
me-
fine.
We call him I like your personality as well.
yes.
I like
We're
your
gonna be
personality.
taking care of this.
They call me Greg for some reason. I still don't understand it.
It is still funny. It is still
he's
funny.
Yeah,
associated
I
with
just
Greg
like to
Hathaway
take
as
credit
well.
for that one.
Yeah, James was the one that came up with it. And he doesn't even call me it, and I think that's so funny. No, I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah, we do call you that.
Valentino. I mean, we pretty much just call him Val. I mean, I don't really think we have any stupid nicknames
Tina.
for him. Tina, I guess.
Hang on, isn't there another favorite name that we have?
Hold on. That's a really good question, guys. Someone answer that, please.
No, continue on.
He doesn't.
Overwritten.
Who has the best hair in the
Overruled.
department, in my opinion? Les doesn't have hair, so we'll keep it down to 4
Now, you're the
members.
only
here.
one that thinks that, bud, so we can't answer that for you.
I have hair. What? Hold on a minute. Actually, take my glasses off.
I have the best hair in the department. I have waves. Let me show you guys.
Garland
Roselli?
knockoff.
Game over. Game over.
Great value Garland is what Les is.
I think I've got better hair.
Garland's just a great value, Les. We love you, Garland, if you're out there.
Who is the coolest
Oh,
members you've seen? Nobody.
Me.
Don't
That's
flatter yourself too much, Gray.
that's your opinion. You're an entitled.
Wait,
to an
Fatal
opinion.
had a
Doesn't mean it's
question,
correct.
and we didn't answer it. It was, who gets on Becky's nerve the most?
I think it's Gray for
What?
Terminator.
No, it's not. 100%. No.
it's not that. I don't know who would.
It's
Becky,
not
why don't you
Gray.
ask the question? Who is it? Who is it here?
Gray, I have a lot of love for you.
It's
Fine.
Valentino for damn.
It's Valentino or
Someone
me.
asked,
It's
favorite
Valentino
form
or
of
me.
pasta. I think it's fair I answer this one first. It's gonna be macaroni.
Are you kidding me?
Thanks for
Awesome.
selling.
Every
Good.
opportunity
What do
to say ravioli.
No. it's
Every
not.
opportunity.
Apparently,
You know what's
Roselli's
funny? I actually
become
hate
Italian.
spaghetti.
Yo, we got a question from Becky here and third party. Can we wrap this up now? No. Next question.
You're getting an exclusive of how the CRC operates, the more specifically command side of the department.
COC
Silver asked us a question. Favorite form of pasta?
Sully's already answered.
Roselli already answered that.
Well, we
Really?
all have to answer though.
Oh my god, I don't eat pasta.
Spaghetti.
Definitely ramen noodles, dude.
Oh, my
God,
god.
nerd.
Tortellini, dude. Tortellini kind of slaps. not
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
lie.
sure that's what you like.
No, dude. Honestly, I'm not even kidding.
Mm-hmm. When
Yeah,
not
I'm
either.
sure you're not kidding, Gray. I'll meet you later, buddy.
Someone
maybe I
asked
wanna do
who's
one.
all here. Who's all here? They weren't here at the beginning, so we have Les, DJ, James, Roselli, me, which is Gray, and then Valentino, and then FaZe is asking us questions.
Could've
And
just
Becky is just
Done it from
tagging
right
along.
to left. Yeah, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, but I'm not there,
Sure.
Roselli, so
We'll wait
calm it down,
for
buddy.
2 more questions and then we'll call it a wrap.
So we kind of already answered that in the beginning, but go through it
Yeah,
again
we
if we need to.
answered what made us want to join the BCSD earlier. Who drifts the best? Me.
Oh, I have the
Right.
I'll flip a U-turn so fast on 68 going
Okay, I think
120
me and
miles
James
an
are
hour.
Tied. Well, I guess
don't
it's I don't know, James.
I'll drift in. Nah, actually, never mind. I'm not gonna say that.
James.
My
What,
day
men's
turns
take
are
one?
absolutely undefeated. Does everything.
Anything from you, Kangaroo?
Excuse you? Anything from me? No. I think y'all pretty much answered all the mainstream questions. Pretty much subpar to exactly what I would say, so very much from me.
Thank you for your input.
James, you weren't required to speak.
How much you love each one of us, one by
Each one of you, I can't lie to people like that. That would be quite disrespectful, sir.
All right, we got a final question. Final question coming in. Dylan Bryan, how many cars do you have and what are they? We are in a very limbo state with vehicles right now.
Oh my God, we
let's
got like
put it
5
plainly.
questions.
We have Tauruses, Vics, Chargers, 14 and 18 Charger. We have Tahoe, 14 and a 20 Tahoe. We have a 16 and 20 Explorer. Remember that half of these either have skins or don't. Some of them are Ripples, some of them are Devs. We have MRAPs. We have ATVs. We have F-250s, Rams, etc. We have so many different variations of cars.
Thank you for oversimplifying how many cars, not
You're
the
welcome,
brands.
DJ. I'm glad you
Thank
couldn't
you.
answer that question. So you can go ahead
Hey,
and use your microphone, please.
FaZe, you
You
pick our
decided to
last
be nice and loud.
questions.
For sure.
Question.
Who breaks the most traffic laws?
Valentino.
That's fucking bullshit.
You know what?
I don't think
Being in
anyone
the
here does.
passenger seat,
No.
I can 110% say it's Gray. Gray likes to drive
thank
off
God.
the side
God damn
of
it.
mountains.
I knew
He
he
thought
was gonna say
go
the
under
end of the
radar to
canine
that
thing.
one.
I thought he was gonna. I knew he was gonna point out the canine thing that happened.
Hey, look, it's been twice, guy.
Okay.
Any other questions,
Okay.
FaZe?
Well, no,
Any more
we're gonna call
questions?
it a wrap there. Server's gonna restart here soon, and most of these people will see you all in patrol. So stay safe. Thank you for all showing up here today.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming out, guys.
And
out,
I'll
everyone.
extend
And,
our applause to the people who couldn't make it. Hill, Bernard, I believe, and Wolf.
And
Wolf.
Wolf, yep.
Yeah.
Our sergeants.
He'll be
Wolfenstein.
getting
Our supervisors.
Yeah.
will be spoken to.
We'll be giving them.
Command team showed out.
James is James going to be giving them an exam for why they couldn't show up, sir.
Yeah, I'll
Thank
be
you,
doing
James.
that for you.
Goodbye.
Not written.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you everyone for showing up today's podcast. For future podcasts and future content that will be posted on the YouTube channel, stay a lookout to that. And also, please follow our social media at SAF Roleplay on every, I believe, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter for either application update, content update, and anything else we're planning in the future. So, have a good one, guys.